Hello again everyone, Edwin Leonard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about Mercury square or opposition Saturn in a natal chart. Now, first off, some of you may remember when I first started my YouTube astrology channel, I did a series on the aspects in a natal chart, and they were a little bit concise. Some people may have referred to them as snappy, so what I decided to do was make another series on them in which the videos would be a little bit longer and more descriptive. So anyway, first thing up is well, if you have Mercury square or opposite Saturn in a natal chart, one way it may manifest is there may be difficulty in terms of communication, which is Mercury, about career-related matters and endeavors, which is Saturn. Now, if Saturn is in Gemini, as an example, it could be, career in, some communication field, whether it be data or satellite communications, or one that involves manual dexterity, such as auto or refrigeration mechanics. And the thing about this too is now another way that these aspects may manifest and pan out in a natal chart. It may be difficult in terms of putting the mind, which is Mercury, on work and responsibilities, which is Saturn. So if you have, Saturn, in Taurus as an example, work and responsibilities, may be tied in, responsibilities may simply be tied into monetary matters, banking, buying and selling, accumulating possessions, resources, or it could be a Taurus related field, whether it could be something associated with geology, carpet laying, work as a stockbroker or pawnbroker, something in banking or finance, architecture, cultivation, gardening, as some other examples. And also too, if you have Mercury square or opposition Saturn in a natal chart, it may also be expressed in having difficulty in terms of understanding, which is Mercury. Any chronic issues, which is Saturn. You may have, if you have Saturn in Pisces, they may even be more nebulous and unclear and obscure compared to the average, chronic issues that somebody may have. And, if Saturn is in Aquarius, is another example of chronic issues, can include, problems with the ankles, the shins, the nerves, the calves, circulation, as some other examples. And also, if you have one of these aspects in your natal chart, activities that involve the father, older people, and authority figures, which is Saturn, may conflict with Mercury related activities, whether it's things with communication, writing, driving, manual dexterity, even during one's early education, maybe there was some conflict in these matters, or there may simply be a conflict between the father, older people, and authority figures, again, which is Saturn, and activities that may involve siblings, cousins, and neighbors, which is Mercury, as another example. Now, let's say if you have Saturn and Aries in a natal chart, the father, older people, authority figures, one or more may actually be an Aries sun, moon, or ascendant person, or simply embody the characteristics of the sign. It could be, people that are aggressive, assertive, outspoken, forceful, courageous, straightforward, direct, but maybe, very, it could be impatient as well, and also hot-tempered as well on the negative side. So, and also too, there may be trouble in terms of difficulties involving short journeys, which is Mercury, to business, career, political, government venues, which is Saturn, whether it's difficulty in terms of, whether it's traffic jams, whether it's distractions, whatever it might be. If Mercury is in Capricorn, Capricorn is the sign of limitation, delays, restrictions. There may be some restrictions one may be enduring with their short journeys, such as transportation limitations. There could be, as an example, it could be, as well, when you have, one of these aspects in a natal chart, another way it may manifest could be, difficulty in terms of, concentrating, which is Saturn, on matters pertaining to communication, writing, manual dexterity, which is Mercury. And let's say, if you have Mercury in Aquarius, things that involve manual dexterity may involve some kind of wiring or soldering with computers or electronics. The thing is, if you have, say, if you have one of these aspects in your natal chart, another thing, about this as well is that, there may also be, issues, analyzing, which is Mercury, matters pertaining to one's career, social status, and responsibilities, which is Saturn. Now, if you have, Saturn in Pisces as an example, there may be certain responsibilities you have, to the less fortunate, which can include people that are impoverished, the oppressed, the hungry, or the homeless. If Saturn is in Taurus, it may simply be monetary matters, buying and selling, matters associated with finance, accumulating possessions, resources, as another example. And there also may be, in terms of if you're trying to plan or even be prudent and cautious, which is Saturn, it may be, doing so in matters with driving, which is Mercury, may be troublesome. It may be hard for whatever reason to plan, driving related matters out, because what could be this situation where you simply are just called upon abruptly or spontaneously to go somewhere, and the situation may be such where it's harder to plan out. It matters with driving in short journeys, which is Mercury. If Mercury is in Pisces, as an example, short journeys, may be a little bit convoluted. If you have Mercury in the zodiac sign, Cancer, it may be where, there may be more emotional energy, connected, with your driving, and, it could be about, how you feel, the mood you're in. A lot of driving may be matters of driving may be more predicated on that. And also, too, there may be difficulty in terms of, being premeditative, which is Saturn, in matters with cars, which is Mercury in general. Whether it's driving, short journeys, car repair, things, that involve cars, buying and selling vehicles. Those things can be, a little bit, it might be difficult in terms of planning in those matters. And also, too, there may be some trouble in terms of incorporating, discipline, which is Saturn, in one's early education, which is Mercury. Now, the thing is, if Mercury is in Virgo, there may have been in early education, there may have been some interest in analytics or statistics, and the person may have been, punctual, actually, and reliable to some degree in matters with the early education, but there just may still be certain difficulty in doing things in the early education with more discipline. And also, too, the thinking, which is Mercury, may not always be disciplined with this aspect as well, in the communication, such as saying things, without really thinking before saying them, and as far as the repercussions, the person on the other end may face. And I would say too, there may be difficulties in terms of communication with one's father, older people, and authority figures, whether it's things getting, misconstrued or misunderstood, or it's just, the situation where there's a lot of arguments and disputes where the two people aren't seeing things eye to eye, as an example. So, and if you have, like, say, Mercury in Pisces, statements may often be, ambiguous anyway. So if you have, you gotta look at the whole, the signs as well when you look at these aspects. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, Edwin Leonard saying stay well.